Dan, thank you so much for joining. And before we start, I've just got to say happy birthday.
Thank you. It seems today with social networks that the entire world knows when it's your birthday.
Well, and as it should do. In difficult times, we all need to celebrate the good stuff in life. Dan, lots of breaking news overnight. Donald Trump having a go at Keir Starmer's attitude to this conflict, and also a former Labour Prime Minister in Sir Tony Blair saying we should have worked closer with America. What do you make of this situation?
And look, Mr. Blair has been a dear, dear friend to the United States and to the Western Alliance, and I think that Prime Minister Starmer can learn a lot from Prime Minister Blair. Those who say that the United Kingdom doesn't want to be dragged into a war may be forgetting that the Iranian regime has dragged them into a war now for many decades, and it's just a question of whether the UK is going to muster up the strategic clarity to join the United States in what Winston Churchill and what Prime Minister Churchill, one of the greatest leaders, perhaps the greatest leader in the free world historically, has said that the world will remember this fight against the Nazis as our finest hour. And this is no different. The Iranian regime today is the Nazi regime of our time. It is a regime that has tried to assassinate 20 Brits in the last 2 years alone. It is a regime that has mass murdered 50,000 of its own people and wounded 500,000. And on International Women's Day, Dawn, this is a regime that systematically rapes every woman that is brought into Evin prison. So I don't think that it's a question of America dragging Number 10 and the British people into conflict. It's the Iranian regime that poses an existential threat to the United States and the Western Alliance. And I'll just end by saying that it was Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi who told Special Envoy Steve Witkoff that they had enough enriched uranium within weeks of creating 11 nuclear bombs. Now, just imagine that the 7/7 al-Qaeda attacks in London had nuclear warheads on them, and I don't think we need to say any more.
OK, Dan, what do you make of the fact that the UK still hasn't even proscribed the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in this country? Many other countries have, even Muslim countries have prescribed them. We still let them literally have an office in West London. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, it's a very interesting point that you make, Dawn, because I wrote that on my notebook as one of the data points to raise. I remember a number of times in the last 2 years, my colleagues and I at the Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs, together with members of the House of Commons, actually brought in senior members of the Iranian opposition into the House of Commons itself. And that was the key point, is that the Foreign Office has still to designate the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as an international terrorist organization. And one really wonders why they haven't done it. The answers that I heard were that the Foreign Office prefers to maintain some sort of contact with the regime as opposed to shutting the door and following, you know, the very aggressive collision course that the United States and, I will say, Israel has taken, because they recognize the severity and the imminence of the threat. I will say that I think the case has not been made well enough on the level of the American people and perhaps the good people of the United Kingdom as to why this is an imminent threat to the Western Alliance, and no less. And as someone who has dealt with public relations, government relations for many, many years, I will say in a moment of self-criticism that both the United States, I think Israel as well, and the United Kingdom would do very well to make the case for the imminent threat that the Iranian regime makes on the people of the UK and the Western Alliance, because it is absolutely the case.
Dan, thank you so much. That's President of Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs, Dr. Dan Diker, on his birthday. OK, let me know what you think about what you heard Dan say there. I mean, are we